So I just want to do a plug for my program at the hospital. So the Nourishing Kitchen is a program that I got a grant for from the hospital last year. And I do cooking demonstrations for my oncology patients twice a month. But it's open to the public, so you are all welcome to come if you want to check it out. And it's always the second and fourth Wednesday of the month at 2 o'clock, and it's in the Greenberg Pavilion on the 10th floor on the unit that's called 10 South. It's across the street, yeah, where the patients are. So it's a great program, and we like to do recipes that are easy to make and nourishing. And these are a couple recipes that I've done both for my oncology patients, and I've also done some cooking demos for the Perlman Center, which is for the cardiac patients as well. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's recipes. The first recipe we're going to do is a super green smoothie. So we're going to use some of the greens that we just talked about. So I'm going to open up my blender. And the first ingredient we're going to put in is spinach. And spinach is really rich in vitamin K, as is the kale that we're about to use as well. And they both also have a lot of iron in them as well. So I'm going to triple the recipe. So if you see me putting a whole lot of greens in, you'll probably use less when you do it yourself. Okay, so
unless you invite all of you to your home.
So you can do this in any blender at home. I'm using a Vitamix, which is a really powerful blender. So we're just going to kind of loosely pack them in. So I'm going to do 3 cups of spinach. It's about 1 cup. And then we're going to do 3 cups of kale. So you could use, this is the large leaf spinach, or you could use baby spinach. And then for the kale, this is curly kale. There's all different kinds of kale out there. There's curly kale, there's dinosaur kale, there's red Russian kale. Any of them will work in this recipe just fine. And there's a lot of different ways to rip the leafy part of the green off of the stem. So you have to do that because the stem is very, very tough. So you can either just use your hands and rip off the leafy part, or you can use your knife and just cut on either side of that stem, which you can see here, and then just cut it up that way and use your knife to just chop through it. For tonight, I actually just used my hands and I just quickly ripped it up a little bit. So if you're having a tough day, it's a really good exercise to get in there and just rip off all the little pieces. And that's all you really have to do. Just break it down a little bit. It'll make it a lot easier to then add into your blender. So you have to help your blender out a little bit. So I'm going to do 3 cups of this as well.
Can you do this in a food processor?
Yeah. As long as your food processor is large enough and can handle the liquid, it should be fine. Okay, so I have 3 cups of the kale in. Okay, and then we're going to put some frozen mango. And mango is very rich in beta-carotene and vitamin C. And research has shown that a diet rich in beta-carotene may actually lower the risk of coronary heart disease. So it's a great thing to have in your diet. So I'm going to put in a full cup, since I'm tripling the recipe right now. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely use the fresh. The benefit of using the frozen mango is that it is going to add a little frostiness to the smoothie.
I'm not sure if I blend it.
This has been thawed a little bit, so maybe if you thaw yours, you can do that. Okay, and then next I'm going to put in some banana. So I already chopped this up. So if you ever have a banana that's getting really brown and spotty and not so pretty, save it, don't throw it out. Peel it first, and then chop it up, and then keep it in a freezer bag, and then just pop it in your freezer so that you're ready to go when you have a smoothie. But it's really important to take that peel off, because it's a pain in the neck to take it off once the banana has been frozen. So this is 3 bananas worth, and I need a half a banana for the recipe, and I'm tripling it, so I'm just going to use half of this bag. And this is a really, really nice, ripe banana, which is excellent because it's going to provide some natural sweetness. Bananas are also a great source of potassium too, which is very important for heart health. Okay. So this was a banana and a half. The bag, I had 3 cups of, it's 3 whole bananas already sliced. Okay.
What happened to put it in the smoothie?
I'm sorry, but I put a banana and a half since I'm tripling the recipe. Okay. And then lastly, we're going to put in some, this is some soy milk. You could certainly use almond milk or rice milk. And if you wanted to use regular milk, you could certainly do that as well. But there are many people who are lactose intolerant nowadays, so I figured I would go safe and go with the soy milk. And also introduce it to those of you who might not have tried it. It's really nice and creamy. So we're going to do 3 cups. This blender is very big, so it's going to be able to handle it, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Is that the unsweetened?
Unsweetened or
This is sweetened. Yes.
They have high fructose corn syrup.
This one doesn't have it. Doesn't have high fructose corn syrup in it. But yes, I would agree with you that it is a good thing to get the unsweetened kind if you can find it. It's definitely better. It has less added sugar. Okay. And then we are going to put in some Greek yogurt as well. So this is getting very full. So I'm going to blend it up a little bit, and then I'm going to put the Greek yogurt in. Okay. Okay, good. So I made some room now. Okay. All the kale and spinach was taking up all the room in there. So I need 1.5 cups, and these are very large containers of Greek yogurt, so I'm just going to use about a container and a half of them. Okay.
Is it the 0, the 1, the 2?
This is the the regular Greek yogurt. So if you're trying to cut some calories, you can use the 0%. Plain, yes. If you wanted to, you could use the vanilla too. That would be fine. Okay.
How many ounces?
So I need a 1.5 cups. So I'm just using a container and a half. And that'll give me about the right amount of ounces that I need. Okay. And then lastly, I'm going to put in a little bit of ice just to make it extra cold. And then a little bit of flax seeds to get those extra omega-3s. Okay, so we'll just put in a couple tablespoons.
So that's crushed already.
This is actually whole, but my blender is going to grind it up for me. But if you wanted to put in the whole, if you wanted to put in the ground flax seeds, that would be fine too. Either way. The blender's going to do the work.
2 tablespoons of flax?
Yes. this is a great way of getting extra fruits and vegetables into your diet and having all of the fiber in it. A lot of juices that are so popular now, they're really just not that great for you because they are extracting all of the fiber in them. So yes, you're getting the antioxidants from the fruits and vegetables, but you're losing all of the fiber, and that's what's so good. So use a blender and make a smoothie, and it's much, much better for your health.
Can I just ask, for diabetic patient, I worry about the
So the next recipe we're doing is a turmeric spiced hummus, and I'm a really big fan of hummus because it's a great source of protein and fiber. It makes an excellent snack. It's wonderful as a spread on sandwiches, and it's so easy to make at home. A lot of the prepared packaged hummuses tend to have preservatives in them. So you can make it yourself at home with high quality ingredients without any preservatives, and you're going to see it only takes a couple of minutes to put together. So the first ingredient in hummus is, anyone want to guess? Chickpeas, right? So chickpeas are the classic ingredient in hummus. But if you wanted to use another bean, you could, and that would be fine. So what I did today was I took canned beans, and canned beans are great because it's an easy, inexpensive source of protein to have on hand. But in general, I'm not a big fan of canned food because it's very high in sodium. So you can buy low sodium canned beans, and then most importantly, rinse the liquid that it's sitting in. Just take a colander, dump your can of beans into the colander, and then just take about a minute to rinse the beans until the water runs clear, and then you're ready to use them. And also that liquid that the beans are sitting in, not only is it salty, but it can also really kind of irritate the tummy too. So it's important to really rinse the liquid for that reason as well. So I'm going to also scale up this recipe as well. I'm going to double the recipe. And I have 4 cans of beans in my bowl here that I've already rinsed. I'm just going to do 2 cans worth of beans right now. So I'm going to just put in half of the bowl of canned beans into my blender. Okay. I'm eyeballing it. It's not perfect, but I'm a pretty good eyeballer and I can estimate pretty effectively. Okay. So next we're going to put in some garlic. So as we talked about before, garlic is very anti-inflammatory. And just to refresh your memory, you want to chop up the garlic and let it sit. And that allows a compound called allicin to form. Not the girl's name, but spelled A-L-L-I-C-I-N. Because there's a compound on the outside of the garlic and a compound on the inside of the garlic. And when you chop it up, it allows the compound allicin to form. And that compound is very anti-inflammatory. So I already have it chopped up on my cutting board. But just to show you how I would cut up some garlic. I wish I had a mirror so you could see, but you'll see my motions. I'll explain it to you. So using the back of your knife, take the base of your hand, and then you're going to whack the base of the knife. And you're not going to hurt yourself. Just keep the blade parallel to your cutting board, and you won't hurt yourself. So I'm just going to give it a good whack, and that's going to help take the skin off. And then from there, I'm going to chop it up. Now, you might be wondering, why am I going to the lengths of chopping up the garlic? Because I'm putting it in a blender. Well, it's an extra step that's definitely worth taking, because in the event that your blade doesn't catch a piece of the garlic, somebody who is very unlucky is going to have a big mouthful of garlic. So just take the time to just chop it up a little bit and help your blender out, and then you can add it in. So I have 2 cloves of garlic already chopped, so I'm just going to throw it into my Vitamix. And just to also show you little knife skills, to really get your garlic nicely chopped, you're basically going to leave the tip of the cutting board on the cutting board, and then you're going to just lift up the back of the knife. Up and down, up and down, up and down, and just do it quickly. And that's going to help you rinse your garlic. So you don't have to go all the way up. That's going to be very tiring. But just lift it up slightly, up and down, and then you'll get it nicely minced. Okay. So I have 2 cloves of garlic. Okay. And then next we're going to put in some sesame paste. And sesame paste is also called tahini, and it's a good source of heart-healthy fat, but it is high in calories, so we can't use a ton of it, but a small amount is very good, and this also gives the hummus its classic flavor. And it also is a good source of copper, and it's a good source of calcium as well. So I'm going to put in a half a cup. Okay. And it is very liquidy, as you can see. Okay. And then I'm going to put in some water. And I have some water here. I need about 2/3 of a cup. So this is my ice water from before, which is fine. Let's see if I'm measuring that correctly. Almost. Okay. And that's going to help thin the hummus out.
How much was that?
2/3 of a cup. We'll give you the recipe card so you have all of the information, okay? All right. And then next we have some fresh lemon juice. So I'm really not a big fan of the packaged lemon juice because many times it has a preservative in it, like sodium benzoate. Some of the packaged lemon juices are fine and they don't have the preservatives, but many of them do. But might as well just use the fresh fruit and you'll get all of the delicious benefits. So we're using a nice juicy lemon. To really get the juice in it, it's great to press down on it with the base of your palm and really break those membranes up. So I'm literally just going to put some pressure down on the lemon, and that's going to help break up the membranes so that when I cut through it, it'll be nice and juicy and ready to juice. So I've already done that with one of my lemons. I put it in this cup. I'll just do maybe one more half. And the reason I'm doing it in the cup and not right into the Vitamix blender is so that in the event that I drop any seeds in, I can catch them. If I do it right into the blender and then a seed falls in, well, that kind of ruins the whole thing, right? So we're going to be doubling the recipe again, so I'm going to need 4 tablespoons worth. So my seeds are sinking to the bottom, and if I see any of them coming my way, I will push them away. Okay, so that's 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we need some heart-healthy fat, or olive oil. And this is an extra virgin olive oil. And again, I'm going to double the recipe, so I'm going to do 4 tablespoons of this. Your olive oil should have a nice bright green color to it. And then finally our anti-inflammatory spices. So we're going to use turmeric, and we're also going to use some curry powder as well for a little bit of heat. And you can adjust this to your taste at home. If you want it to be a little spicier, or if you want to maybe take down the spice, that's fine. So first I'm going to put the turmeric in, and I'm going to need 1 tablespoon of that because we're doubling the recipe. This is what's going to give the hummus its beautiful yellow color. Okay. And then lastly, some salt. And if you're following a low salt diet, you can use less or you can omit it completely. And I find that actually lemon juice is very helpful if you're trying to follow a low sodium diet, because it gives food that nice brightness so that your palate misses the salt less. So if you are cutting out the salt or you're reducing the amount of salt, you might want to increase the amount of lemon juice, or maybe increase the amount of spices in it too. Okay, so about a teaspoon of this as well, and I know that seems like a lot, but this is going to make a lot of hummus. And then we're done. We just have to blend it up. And then we can always adjust it afterwards and adjust the seasoning a little bit if we feel like it. keep it a little bit chunkier. You don't have to blend it this far, but I think the smoother consistency is a little bit tastier.
Where do you buy that zucchini?
You can find it in any of the grocery stores now. It's in like the Middle Eastern section usually, or if you go to a health food store, you'll find it with the nut butters. Yeah, Fairway definitely has it. Okay, so I think
We're ready.
we will start to plate this up, okay?